And we are live. It is recording. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Selim.
Hello.
This is Channing, and our guest
Hello.
today, Kumo.
Hello.
Kumo.
Thank you for
awesome
joining in.
Kumo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Kumo, I have a really first question for you. Is who are you and what do you do?
Hi, everyone who is watching. I'm Kumo. I'm the founder and creator of Kumo's World, which is an NFT project. I guess since last year, we launched in November, and we have sold out then and been building ever since. Trying to keep everything going in the fair market, but it's all great, so no complaints. Our project is Kumo X World. If you don't know about it, feel free to check out on Twitter, or our website is kumoxworld.com. So there's a lot of information about it there. So I won't ramble on about it for too
And
long.
just so that people don't click on the wrong collection, your collection is Kumo X World Resident.
Yes.
Perfect.
We have a blue check on OpenSea, so that's the one that you will be checking out. But our OpenSea link is on our website, so that is all there.
Yeah. I'm not so trustworthy of blue check marks now with the Twitter thingy, so you know.
You gotta pay
it's better to get
right?
the info straight from the founder when you can.
And she has multiple collections too, right? There are charity collections, there are banner collections, there are collaboration, collab collections too, right? There are quite a few.
So you are on a collection spree.
Pardon?
You are on a collection spree.
Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, gotta keep
I
everything
am.
You're what, Channing?
No, I'm just saying I found out Kumo because a lot of people were using the Kumo PIPs in the Discord, in the communities, in a lot of communities. And I just, it's pretty cute, it's pretty adorable. So I kept asking them, what is this one? And then also, it's Kumo. And I asked them about what is the reason you buy Kumo. And the reason they gave to me was surprisingly different from the other ones, because they just say the vibe is different. It's cute. It's a very cute thing, and is linked to charity, which is not all about, it's not all about all these profits, taking profit, taking gains, which is quite different from a lot of communities we've known. So if you can let us know about what's the project about, why are you doing it? That's two questions. Let's start one by one.
Oh, okay, boss. So I guess.
Okay.
Okay. I guess the mission and the vision of the project in the the whole main goal in simple terms is to make the world a better place, as cheesy as it sounds. Through
That's not a small goal. Wow.
I guess impacting our consumers or anyone who comes into experience with Kumo's World. Even if it's one person, we believe in the ripple effect of, you influence one person and then they'll go on to influence their network of people. And we do that through storytelling and the experiences that we provide our users. And that initially came through with our events on Discord. So in January, we held an event called Giving Back January. And if I remember correctly, it was basically for the whole month of January, we had 3 tasks that everyone had to do for every day. So it's something like maybe be kind to yourself. So show yourself love, show yourself kindness, or be kind to someone that's near to you or whoever it is, and then gratitude. So write down 3 things that you're grateful for. So these things might only take a minute or 2 a day, and it kind of accumulates over the month. And it just so for example, if you were to do something nice for someone, then they will feel good, and hopefully they will then do something nice for someone else. So it's kind of trying to create that starting the year off well. so that people are kind of all in this good vibe going into the year.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of collaborations with other projects that took that idea on board, and that turned out really well. So really happy with how our things are going. Sorry, I kind of went on a ramble there, so I'll just...
That's pretty awesome. Keep in
No,
mind that
the aim
happened
is to
in
rumble.
January. Yep. So that
what,
was in
sorry?
January, which was, January 2022, which was the peak of the bull market, where the market sentiment was not about having inner peace, having about these kind of feelings, whereas everybody was grinding wild east, and chasing for profit, all these kind of things, which was quite different of the view that we were having with all other projects. And that was before the what is it called? The Pixelmon and everything else. So that was when BAYC was around 40 ETH. So considered to be cheap back then, right? And then things really took off. And what I found about Kumo was even though Kumo wasn't too big back then when they just launched, they still have a huge amount of collaborations with a good project. And then back then, as a YouTuber, as a analyst of the NFT projects, one of the key things to evaluate a NFT project is to see how many good collaborations they have with other projects.
Yeah.
And Kumo, despite their floor price wasn't too impressive, right? Because all the other things were 5 ethers, 10 ethers. Despite they were not too impressive, but then they have a lot of very good collaborations, which also caught my eye. And I was like, what's going on? Why do you have this much collaborations? And your answer was, do you remember? Your answer to... So because you're passing down all these good vibes, and then it's all different.
Yeah.
So which was very, very impressive. So that's when I started buying Kumo NFTs. Didn't make a lot of money apparently because of the bear market.
Oh yeah, because he buys NFTs, but he never holds on to them. He just flips them. He's like a crazy flipper,
Mm-hmm. And I still hold quite a few Kumos these days.
Yep.
Aww. Yeah, I think in this space, it's I think it's nice to just be genuine and authentic when you message people. And like, for example, a lot of the projects that we collaborated with, I was actually friends with them before I was in their community and we met through other communities, or I just DM'd them and just said hi and got to know them. Like, for example, Isekai Meta. So they were very big as well, and a lot of people said, "Oh, you should collaborate with them," and same with like NanoPass and other projects or Cool Cats.
Yeah.
And then when I messaged them, they're like, "Oh, you're the founder of Kumo's World. I've heard so much nice things about you." Even though I'm like, "Oh, we're kind of like, humble a little compared to all you hundreds and thousands of followers." I was like, "Oh, you heard about us? Oh, thank you." I'm just, making sure that you guys are getting enough rest, because as a founder, it gets very stressful, especially when there's a bull market and bear market are both stressful for the founders, because there's like the demand and there's like so much going on, or when there's not much going on, then they're also like, "Well, what's going on? There's not much going on, so please tell us something." And so there's like this kind of thing where I kind of got into like a habit of just like messaging other founders and being like, "Hey, hope you guys are doing well, and that everything is going fine with you guys, and make sure you're getting rest." It's not like I'm DMing you to get a response. It's just more like, hope you guys make sure you sleep, make sure you drink enough water, make sure you rest. And even though the market is either crazy right now or it's quiet, make sure that you take care of yourself, because mental health is a huge thing, right? Yeah. So if you don't take care of yourself, what's the point of having the project? If you go down, then the project kind of goes down with you, only because you're the founder and you need to kind of be there for your community in that sense.
Yeah.
So, sorry, another ramble.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm going to put that as a thumbnail for the VOD. It's just you go. It's so expressive. I love it. I have a question for you. Is what made you decide to create the NFT project or to embark on that journey? Like, did you just wake up like, I'm going to be a founder today? Like, what? How did it come to be?
With the light bulb at the shiny on the forehead, bing, like that. Yeah.
Well, I was actually I started in the NFT space as a one-on-one artist.
Oh.
So I started back in April. My very first collection is actually Pixie Game Bots, which is like a voxel collection. And then through that, I met like loads of different other people who are in the NFT space. NFT Asia, I was big into that group. And then they told me about Oniforce, and then I got into Oniforce. And then it was like being in all these different communities that I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting, you know? I still hadn't thought about doing my own collection yet. But then when I got really involved with Oniforce, I was...
all the audience. Sorry. Just replying GM back to the audiences.
There's a huge lag going on there in the background there. Sorry. What did you say there, Tech?
No, I'm just saying there's the audience coming on board, and they're just saying GM, and I'm just GMing back.
Oh, okay. All good. But yeah, no. So then I did a lot of fan art for Oniforce, and then people were asking me like, "Oh, are you gonna do your own collection? Like, we would like support you and all that kind of stuff." And at the time, I just kind of laughed it off. I was like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so." It's like it's just a lot of work, and there's a lot of thought process behind it. But I was actually drawing a kind of other things, and I guess you could say from like for a few years now, I've always wanted to kind of make a difference in the world. That was on my LinkedIn tagline for a while. And then I was like, well, maybe, you know, because I've seen the kind of impact that a community can do in a project, right? You have thousands of people following, and they say, you know, power in numbers, right? So you have a lot of people in a community that if they all believe in the project, if they all believe in your mission, then it's like you have more of an impact as opposed to an individual. So then I was like, okay, maybe I could do a project that could, you know, bring smiles to people's face. It wasn't even like that huge at the time because people would say, oh, you know, looking at your images, it just makes me so happy. And I was like, okay, well, I like making people happy. So maybe that's kind of like where I was going.
Yeah.
And then that's how I guess it started, like as just to make people happy. And then it kind of grew into maybe this collection or the people that support my project, I can kind of navigate towards my making the world a better place by you know making it into like a proper mission and growing towards it. And that's kind of how it blossomed from there, I guess.
Oh, awesome.
Like it rattles.
No, but it's perfect. It's actually the aim of the show. So it's the usual aim of the show is to show the people that our audience and our students that there is a lot of things to do in web or in crypto that is not developer or trader activity, because that's what most people think when they think, oh, you have a job in crypto, you're writing code or you're trading because it's all charts. So it's a bit like you do have that experience because you're a software developer, so code doesn't scare you. But it's good. It's cool because like you didn't do like I'm going to create like a super algorithm for market making automation or whatever, you know. Like you went with like making the world a better place, being friendly, cute PFPs and stuff, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So,
Thank you.
The next question for me, or that I ask every guest, is: do you have, or what are the biggest misconceptions about, for instance, being a founder? Like, what's the, or what were you not really, like, what were you expecting? Like, when you were like, oh, okay, so maybe I should start my own thing, versus the reality of it.
I guess the misconception that other people might have is that you're a founder, so there's really not much to do. You find a project, and then after you launch, then you have like a team that they just manage everything. It depends, right?
Like the autopilot thing. It just drives itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people now know that that's not true because, founders have spoken and been like, there's actually a lot of work to do post-launch, because a lot of the time people think, okay, so once you've launched, like even people who are founding projects go, oh, I will relax after I launch the project. Like that's when the wind down happens, but it's actually when the wind up happens, because pre-launch, you're just worried about launching the project. Once the project is launched, you have to worry about the roadmap, what your community is going to say, and all that kind of other stuff that comes with having a project. And so I guess for me was more so everything, because I'm like the only full-time person on the project. So I have to think of like the business side of things and then the art side of things. So I have to draw the things, I have to do the marketing and everything. So yeah, so a lot of work. There's a lot of work with finding a project. It's not like people think, oh, once you sell a project, you make a lot of money and then goodbye, the end. It's like, no, actually, it depends. If that's what you want to do, then yes, that's kind of
that's being an a-hole.
Yeah, rugging your project.
That's not rare these days, right? That's like what you're doing, like after launch, still building things. That's actually rare these days, and that's why a lot of people have these kind of misconceptions.
Yeah. That's why anyone who's going to space are like thinking, oh, I'm not, because I was talking to my sister's husband, and he was like, oh, but there's so many scams in the NFT space. Like, you don't even know which one to buy because 90% of them are scams. They rug pull, and then you buy in, and then that's the end. So, like, how do I know which is good or not these days? So it's like the scammers, the quick money makers are the ones that are kind of like giving the space a bad reputation, but also the people that promise, the same thing, right? A-holes, where they just promise a lot of stuff. The roadmap looks amazing, and then once they mint out, it's like goodbye.
Yeah.
We've all seen that kind of projects before.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I'm not that into the NFT space. Like, I get all my info from Channing, like, because Channing is really deep in the NFT space. I'm as we said, like pre-interview, like I'm on the techie side of things. Like when like Algorand said like we reached quantum resistance, I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. But then anyway, Channing, do you have any questions, or should I keep firing?
Yeah, sure. Let's do a bridge question between this NFT and the crypto world, right? Why did you want to build a NFT project? There are thousands of ways of building a community, doing changes in the world, but why did you choose to be an NFT world? Did you want to just make a lot of money, or what was the reason behind it? Why using distributed ledger or blockchain technology?
That acronym I asked you, what does that mean? DLTs? I guess because the NFT space was like so fast growing, and it's the nice thing is that you can reach so many people in such a short space of time. Because I did like traditional art. Huh?
Look at us now. I'm in Australia. Slim is in Switzerland, and you're in Singapore right now. So
yeah, so I think it's so nice that you can communicate with so many people around the world. Whereas like in traditional methods, it's more like about who you know, and like how much money you have to be able to like influence people or do whatever. And actually not influence, it's to inspire people to change for the better, so that in turn change the world for the better. Yeah. And so I guess like with the NFT space, I had a bigger reach because I was in a lot of communities, so I had a lot of kind of contacts in that sense, so that when I launched the NFT project, it was like, okay, people see the cute art, they can resonate with it, and then if they resonate with the art, then they come into the community, and then I have more people to reach, right? Whereas like I tried Instagram with my artwork, and I didn't really get much of a reach where many people know about it. So it's like in the space of a few years versus a few months in the NFT space, I could have a bigger impact. And then with the community, it's like when you have such a huge people following and supporting your mission or vision, then it's like, why don't we kind of go at it together, as opposed to, oh yeah, you can do a startup and then people support you in the sense of they just give you money and then that's it. They never really kind of do anything else. Whereas I feel like with the Web3 space, you're kind of all in it together. If the people that you have accumulated in your community support what you do, then they have a tendency to actually participate in what you're building towards. So I think it's like making, I don't want to say making use of your community, but building together with your community for what you believe in. That's why the NFT space is so nice, because everyone kind of they find their own niche, they find what they resonate with, and then they kind of like go there. So people who are in a community right now, they the ones that are active still, they are there because they enjoy it. And then now and again, people would come back and like, oh, I miss being home because it's so different compared to the other groups. Because say during the bear market, people would be in the other groups, maybe like footing, like, oh, what's with the floor price? And they're always so focused on the money side of things. Whereas in our community, not a lot of people would ever really talk about floor price or, you know, what are you guys building? How are you guys going to build the value of your project or anything like that? So it's more just like, oh, yeah, exactly. So we're just I keep saying it to everyone that like I'm very grateful and blessed for the community that I've managed to build, that we've never really had FUD in our community. If anything, it's like they come in and go, oh, you know, what are you guys building? What are you doing with the project? Because it's more like to see like, oh, you know, how are you progressing, as opposed to what are you doing to like make us profit in that sense. So it's just very kind of, everyone is so humble and nice and friendly and just so loving that I enjoy being there every day. Like I'm there every day just to be like, hey, good morning, everyone. Whereas I know some other founders don't like being in their Discord because every day they have to deal with a lot of questions about, you know,
they don't like
when
what?
will the dev do something? When dev do something?
Really?
You know, you're like, calm down.
When news coming out, when floor pump.
Yeah, so we luckily very blessed we don't have that. So
yep. God, I love it's you are so expressive. It's awesome. It's so awesome. It's so awesome.
That's why I have this project that's very animated, right?
So that's a perfect example of the you know, our friends always asking about what do you know, do I have to know the coding? Do I have to do you know, be trading in the crypto to build an NFT project, or you know, to do something, right? It's all about communities. Web3 is all about communities, and if you believe that you can find similar people with similar beliefs in this space, similar interests, and then you can just build out your own project. It doesn't really matter to, you know, it doesn't have to be making a lot of money with it. So, but you know, you don't have to know a lot of things. You can, with the help of friends, you can launch your project, right? So I think that's a very good example. But that comes to my next question, that your NFT project, the floor got absolutely pumped the other day. That was a long time ago. And at the one point, the other month or the other year, the floor price went up straight up, and the market cap of Kumo's collection is more than, let's say, $25 million, right? At the point. What happened? If you do the math. So what happened?
Again, so he has been stalking your project for a long time.
I have. It's one of the, you know, the one of the projects I really like. So what happened? What did you know which event I'm talking about? But obviously, I wanted you to do the punchline. And what happened? And how did you feel? Did you feel happier, stressful? What happened?
The very first time we had our pump was actually like 2 or 3 days into January 2023. So it was like the start of the new year, right? Nothing really happened, if I have to be very honest with you. Although, very grateful, Gary Vee followed us on Twitter, and that was it. the thing with influencers, when they follow a project, it's almost like they cause this pump in the floor price, because people think that when the influencer buys into the project, they can make a huge profit from it. But it doesn't guarantee that. Just because they follow your project doesn't mean that they're going to buy. So appreciate that that Gary followed us, because that led to a lot of people knowing about the project and buying into the project. But like you said, with every pump comes a lot of stress, because then people that are attracted to your project are people that want to make huge profits. And then they come in and they're like, oh, Gary Vee, when is he going to buy? When Gary Vee buy? When Lambo? When Moon? And you're like, guys, calm down. Gary Vee just followed us on Twitter. Stop spreading rumors. And that's actually what a lot of projects do. They release these kind of like little, how would you say it? Like rumors that, oh, maybe like, oh, I'm talking to a brand right now. Just saying, not saying what brand it is, but, you know, big brand in the talks. And you're like, oh, they're going to sign with someone. And then people buy because they're buying on the speculation.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't happen, they're like, oh, well, we never said anything. We just said we're in the talks, but we didn't say it's actually happening. And then that's like a pump and dump situation, right? And then so like, that's why when people came in, they're like, oh, when Gary Vee going to buy? I'd say, guys, calm down. Gary Vee just followed us on Twitter. Doesn't mean anything. But if you want to buy, I'm not going to stop you. And so, you know, then that's kind of what happened. And then people, even though there were a lot of people who came in for the flip, and a lot of people did actually make a lot of profit from it, because I think it pumped to like 0.6 something at one stage. And then a lot of our holders who bought at the low of like 0.02 managed to do a really good flip. Yeah, but then because of that, it brought in a lot of new people who wouldn't have heard about our project otherwise. So pros and cons. Okay. With exposure comes a lot of other things.
Yeah. I have a question for both of you, because you're much deeper in the NFT space than I am. So, how to word it? What's your favorite project or top 3 projects that you really like, and that are doing stuff differently, just like you are doing stuff differently, you know? Like it's not like a tip.
Oh, really? I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, I hope Kumo answers it first, and then I can.
Well, you can do one and one and one and one, so you get time to think.
Go for it, sir.
Or which project that you have now that you're looking at or that you like because they're doing things differently again.
Also, obviously, we're not going to talk about Kumo, because that's that's going to be one of the obvious reasons, things of the thing.
She was about to say like Kumo, of course.
I'll say I really love the My Pet Hooligan, the NFT project. You guys heard about it. The reason is a lot of projects, they say that they are going to be making a lot of things, but turning out that they don't have real life experience. They don't have a lot.
They don't deliver stuff.
No, absolutely, because this is NFT projects is different when we talk about actual products, right? When we are comparing, when we go to when we want to buy a phone, and we look at a Samsung, we look at iPhone, we look at them, we feel them, we try them, and then later on decides which one I buy. But when doing NFT projects, is the opposite. Is these people saying that they are going to deliver this kind of product, but you don't know whether or not they're going to deliver it. So that's why a lot of projects, when they finally launch, and then they got this whole bunch of money sitting on their hand, and they have two choices. They can go, out there and enjoy their lives and then leave the project behind, or they can actually try to deliver the project, which has a lot of risks of not delivering the projects anyway, because there are a lot of risks. But then MyPay Hooligan is different because not to show anything, right? This is not financial advice neither, but they have a very good team that's working behind it. The one of the founder is from Hollywood, and made a lot of
producers
very
and...
famous. Yeah, made an animation director, and then they made a lot of very famous movies, not to mention any names, but if you check it online, you can actually see it. So they are actually doing a lot of things, and he's working in the studio doing these kind of things. So which makes me very I like how they're doing it, and they're doing the game, and I have huge beliefs that they are going to deliver the game. So
Okay.
that's that.
Okay.
Ooh, I have an echo.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Sorry, you done? Keep going.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's your turn now.
It's your turn, yeah. Yeah.
I was actually thinking this whole time. I'm like, okay, so I really like the kaiju. Kaiju kings. So
the ones that
a lot of their,
that's the question.
Because I love their community. I mean, I love my community too, obviously, but their community has been just so nice and so supportive of Kumo's world since before. I think it was like since before launch, or maybe during launch, or whatever it is. And they're still super supportive. And their community is just so nice and loving, and they're just like a group of DJs, which. I mean, I can just play my DJN self when I'm in there, kind of.
Oh, you have a DJN side. You seem
I do have a DJN side.
You seem so relaxed and posed. I would never picture you for a DJN.
I'm a temporary DJM. DJM, like now and a DJM. I'm a gem of the D. And so I don't know. Their community is really fun. And I met a few of them in New York. And they're just really nice bunch of people. Like, if anything, I think it's great to have like a good roadmap, and they have delivered a lot in the last few years since they've launched. I don't know it all off because I haven't been like very much checking all the announcements and stuff. But they've done like a game, they've done merch, and they've done a lot of like other things like charities and stuff. And they do host a lot of IRL events, and I think their community in Singapore is like super active. There's like over 600 people in a Telegram group that they're just constantly messaging. And I mean, I just like the community, and I think community really makes the project. So if you have a really good community, that in itself for me is pretty good. Like, no one is an a-hole as per se. They're all very friendly to each other. I guess I don't have that whole background spiel of all the founders and stuff, but for example, one of the founders, like Madotsky, like I've been before in the last few months, even like before launch and even after launch, like we've been just messaging back and forth, and he's just very nice and always very willing to help and help me network with people. And I mean, I'm just very grateful for them and their community, and just I'm doing this a lot because like I don't know what else to say. Community. If I had to say one word, I'd be like community.
It just makes me realize, because you have, like you said, you were the only person that is full-time on the project. Do you manage to keep a bit of track of what is happening even in the NFT world, or are you, because you're the only one that has to fill the arts, do the marketing and all of that, like you're so heads down onto building your thing that you don't even have like the luxury of time, in a sense, to like just be informed or something like that? Or do you have like minions that you said and like, go check that part of the NFT world?
Well, yes and no in that sense. So since going into this full time, so full time as in quitting my real IRL job to do this full time, so that I can get some rest. I have brought in some people in to help me. So people are doing some social media stuff for me. Some people are doing like video editing for our YouTube, and kind of trying to delegate tasks. But it is really hard to keep track of what every project is doing, because I have a lot of NFTs that I hodled, and I'm like, what are they actually doing? Are they still building? I don't know. It's really hard to keep track, because you can only have 100 servers in your Discord, and I've maxed out. And I'm not getting Nitro or whatever you call it, because then that will be 200 maxed out, and I cannot afford that time just to be checking all the Discords. And so in regard to minions, I do have our holders that would come in and go, hey, Kumo, did you hear about this project? Or I'm like, are you a holder of this project? Because they're doing this. And I'm like, guys, if they're doing anything of value, please let me know, so that I can either get the free mint or the airdrop that I am entitled to as one might. Because I missed out on so many of these things. I'm like, oh, crap, I'm one day too late. Or I find out like a month later. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Long story short, sorry, I rambled again. I should just
that's cool. You know what? I have a suggestion, Salim. Because you asked about to do 3 projects. That's really good. But how about I say one because I was thinking about I should talk about Kumo. I should talk about Tech Tree NFTs, which is the project that we are working on. But then, it feels like we're sharing projects.
Exactly.
How about I talk about a project that I don't really like? I really don't like.
Ooh, yeah, like an example not to follow or something.
No, this is not personal, right? This is definitely not personal. This is just what I have felt with my personal experience, right?
Spoiler alert, he's probably not going to say Kumo.
So the project, I really, so the feeling is so much of a contrast. So before launch, they seem like they were so professional with everything, whereas after the launch, they absolutely ditched the whole project. And the project is called Phantom Network, PXN. So people who were in the NFT space for the, I don't know, it was March, May, June period or April, that kind of period, we all have heard about this project, which was absolutely crazy. So these guys are marketing geniuses. They are so good at marketing. They hired so many, they did marketing in so many ways that it is absolutely an honor to get an invitation code to go to their Discord. And if someone does that, they actually have raffles of getting the code to get inside of the Discord. Not whitelist, not anything, but to get entrance ticket to that. And then that's how they raffle things. They host a bunch of, hire a bunch of pretty girls on Twitch. They start streaming, and they get like tens of thousands of people watching. And then at the end, they throw out some random questions or do some competitions, and the winners get to go to inside of the thing. Yeah. And when they launched, the mint price was 0.35 Ether, and the floor price just went to 5 Ether straight away. And everybody was talking about it because it's so hard to get in, and the FOMO was so extreme. But then they said they were so experienced in the Web2 world. They were building. What they were saying was, we are in the Web3 world, right? And then we're supposed to use Web3 tools, not using Discord, not using Zoom, which are all Web2. But then their project after launch was really, really bad. Like, you can't even, it's not even a good communication tool to use back then. So, and then since then, they just kind of not disappeared, but then you can't really find them anymore, the founders.
Mm.
And the floor price went to, I think, it went down quite quickly. It had FUD and everything, but then I think floor price is about 0.2 or something right now. But then keep in mind that back then Ethereum was way much more expensive back then. So that's one of the projects I regret buying, or regret not selling at the top, where as 0.5 5 ethers. That was a lot of money.
It was like 2K, like when ETH was at 4K, something like that.
Yeah. No, I think it was 3K or something. I can't remember. Yeah,
still a lot of money.
That was a lot of money. That's like $15,000, right?
Yeah.
So I could have taken the profit, but I didn't. I thought it was going to move. I thought it was going to be the next BAYC.
Yeah.
Because they're actually building something, right? They were building something. BAYC was not building anything, right? Back then. But then the project they built was so crappy. But that comes the thing I just talked about as well, the risk of you're delivering the project or not, because you were using this, you have a choice, you're using this fund to do the project or not, because sometimes just things are not exactly as they plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Exactly. But it resonates with what Kumo just said about it's not pre-mint that is the hard work. It's post-mint that when the real work is actually, like, this is where you have to roll up your sleeves and really do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Same as TechTree. TechTree has launched so how many months now?
And like it's still, almost a year. Yeah. Almost a year.
Yeah, and we're still doing live streams these days. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and more to come. I have...
Kumo, you're saying?
Yeah, Kumo. Do you want to say something?
Oh, no, I think there's just a huge lag. It's like, I feel like I'm like looking and then I'm like, yeah. And then it's like, oh, wait,
you have a lag?
What? Is that for me? I think a little bit, but it's okay.
Sorry.
Not your problem. My problem. Totally fine.
Oh, I have 2 questions for you. Okay. Because it's like the time is flying so fast. Do you have what we call a hard-earned lesson, or things that we should knew sooner? Like, because we all make mistakes in crypto, and for now, this is how you learn crypto, is by making mistakes, or if you're smart, try to listen to other people's mistake in order to not make the same.
Definitely not me.
Yeah, none of us, or at least not the 2 of us. I don't know about you. Maybe you're just the smartest, and you're like, I just ask people their mistake, and I just don't do it.
Learn from others, right?
Yeah. And so the question is, like, what is something like that you learned the hard way, and that you'd want new persons coming into the space to not do or know beforehand? So because you've made the expense of it.
So, let me tell you, take profit, guys. Make sure you take profit. Especially if it's a project that you don't plan to hodl, or that you're not like too invested in. Like if you see a project and it's like, I don't know, you bought in at low, and it's not like you're following that project intensely in that sense. And then if it pumps, and you're like, oh, I'll just sell it later, or I'm going to wait for it to pump even more. You just never know, right? You will never... Actually, yeah. So the thing is, you will never get it at the right time. Like, if you think that, oh, I should take profit now, probably should take it. If it pumps a little bit, profit is still profit at the end of the day. So there's so many projects that I bought into because it was like, at the time it was like popular or whatever, and I still hodl them because, the only way to make a loss is if you sell it at a loss. But
professional on the water.
Yeah, sorry, Channing. That's your regrets in life. But no, it's like because you always think, because people are greedy, right? Like I'm greedy sometimes. We're like, I'll just wait for it to pump a little bit more, and then
sometimes.
And like you said, you never catch the perfect timing for anything, and maybe you do. But many times you don't. So at the end of the day, just think profit is profit. And if you don't take it, someone else is going to take it.
Yeah.
I think there's only one project that I did a really good flip. Two really good projects that I flipped, because I wasn't emotionally attached to them. I just kind of like realized I got whitelist for it. I'm like, oh, okay, mint and sell because they're pumping or whatever it is. So one is like Tubby Cats. I didn't even realize I had a whitelist for that. They tagged me on Twitter and they're like, hey, don't forget to mint your Tubby Cat for, I think it was like 0.02 or something like that, or something really low, maybe 0.06. And the floor at the time was like 0.6. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to mint and flip it. So I minted it. And then literally like 2 minutes later, I flipped it. And I was like, wow, that was the fastest flip I've ever done. And like the best one I probably ever did. Some people are like, oh, that's not that much. But then afterwards, their floor went down. So I'm like, I think I did well. And then the other one was Art Gobblers. So
wow, you got into Art Gobblers.
And so I mean, their floor at the time when I sold it was 15. So I sold it for 15 ETH. But then the next day it pumped to 24. So I was like, but then the day after that, it went back down to 11. So I was like, I mean, I feel like I kind of
15.
It was
15.
Not 0.15, like 15.
No, 15 ether. It's still on the top charts these days on the on the OpenSea, right? These days. What's the floor right now?
I mean, point or two, maybe 5 ETH or something. But like the thing is, if you want to sell, like the floor usually goes back down anyways. So if you sell high, if you want to buy back into the project when they go back down, that's the kind of time to buy. You know, You buy on the way down, not buy on the way up. You sell on the way up, you buy on the way down.
All right.
Again, I'm sorry, I ramble.
No, the floor price right now is still 3.6 ether, so it's not bad at all. Not a bad project.
Yeah, even for a bear market, it's not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Before I fire my last question, do you have any, Channing?
No, I'm cool. I think a lot of questions.
You're always
cool. Of questions are already. Oh yeah, of course. A lot of questions I wanted to ask was already covered in this episode, so it was pretty good.
Awesome.
Because the rambling helps.
It does.
She just answered all the questions I ever asked.
My last question then is, again, it's a bit weird to phrase it like that, but you know, the whole women in tech thing, like you get stereotypes or something. Like right now you're doxxed, and like thank you for being doxxed. But did you get like bad vibes, or like they played dumb or something because like people realize that I don't know, you're a woman, or is it how is your experience of being a woman in Web3 basically? That's my question. That's a better phrasing of it, actually.
It does. It is better version of it.
Pretty well received in that sense because I'm a minority, but initially it was assumed that I was a dude. So I get, yo man, yo bro, what's up bro? Good project, bro. I loved your project, mate. And I'm like, and then they called me Mr. Kumo as well. And I'm like, yeah, I just kind of roll with it. I'm like, oh, no problem, Mr. whoever you are. And then it would be later on that, you know, the community members might be like, by the way, Kumo's a girl. And they're like, so sorry, Kumo, I thought you were a dude. But, you know, that's like a stereotyping everyone as a dude. There were people that I guess you could say, if anything, they kind of got annoyed that I labeled my collection as like female-founded collection or whatever. They're like, oh, you're just rolling with the meta of female projects, pumping, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, first of all, if you've done your research, we actually launched last year and it was before the female meta. Secondly, the reason why I state this is because I usually get whatever you call it, mistaken as a dude. So before you even come into my Discord, you could be like, oh, actually, it's a female-founded project, so Kumo must be a lady. And it's just then that person was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, because he was kind of like an influencer, and he tweeted about it. He was like, oh, I hate when founders take advantage of the meta and they take advantage of the fact that they're female and all that kind of shit. And I was like, sorry, excuse my French. But yeah, so in that sense, I was like, let me clarify, dude. I'm pretty sure
he's French, by the way.
Yeah, bonjour, ça va? Ça bien? Wait.
Oh my god, you speak French! Oh wow!
Je parle un petit peu de français.
Oh wow, this is so lovely.
Beaucoup. No, I don't
À part ça,
remember.
ton accent français est tellement bien. Ton français est tellement bien. Yes, very good. Good.
Mon petit fleur, ça va?
Oh wow, you actually did.
Wait.
I thought you were bluffing.
No, she actually did say stuff that makes sense.
I thought, remember that video I sent to you, like K and J, what's the name? K and J? Yeah, K and Peel, and then they were like, would you what these kind of things? I thought she was doing that. But
no, she actually was saying
good
stuff.
accent in French. Oh wait, my French accent is very, very bad. So.
Lovely.
I'm sorry, I feel like I just offended a lot of people.
No, you didn't. I am the sole representative of the French community here, and I'm telling you, you did not offend anyone.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh wow. Oh wow. And I think that's a perfect ending. Maybe last words, any of you? But for me, like, that was like a perfect ending.
I think it's pretty good.
Thank you for anyone who's tuning in and watching, and I hope you guys got something from it.
Yeah. So follow Kumo. It's at KumoXWorld on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Kumo World Resident is the name of the collection. Yes. Yeah. There you go. It's good vibes only. And thank you for tuning in, people. And we'll see you